Russia and Ukraine remain at an impasse, unable to achieve a significant breakthrough in direct talks held in Istanbul. While there was an agreement to exchange more prisoners, the two countries are still deeply divided over how to end the costly and bitter conflict. Russia has shown little willingness to compromise, presenting Ukrainian negotiators with a memorandum that reiterates its maximalist, hardline terms, which essentially demand a Ukrainian surrender. Expectations for a Kremlin compromise were always low, but Moscow seems to have eliminated any indication of a readiness to soften its demands. The Russian memorandum calls for Ukraine to withdraw from 4 partially occupied regions that Russia has annexed but not fully captured. This territorial concession is something Kiev has repeatedly rejected. The memorandum also states that Ukraine must accept strict limits on its armed forces, never join a military alliance, host foreign troops, or acquire nuclear weapons. This represents Ukrainian demilitarization in its most hardline form, which is unpalatable to Ukraine and much of Europe, who view the country as a barrier against further Russian expansion. Other Russian demands include the restoration of full diplomatic and economic ties, specifically that no reparations will be demanded by either side, and that all Western sanctions on Russia be lifted. This wish list from the Kremlin, while familiar, highlights how Moscow continues to envision Ukraine as a subjugated state under Russian influence, with no significant military or real independence. This uncompromising stance comes despite 2 important factors that might have given the Kremlin pause. Firstly, Ukraine has developed the technical capability to strike deep inside Russia, despite its staggering disparity in territory and resources. The recent, stunning drone strikes targeting Russian strategic bombers at bases thousands of miles from Ukraine serve as a powerful illustration of this capability. Ukraine, it seems, has some cards after all, and is using them effectively. Secondly, and arguably more dangerously for Moscow, these latest hardline demands come despite United States President Donald Trump's increasing frustrations with his own Ukraine peace efforts. Trump has already expressed annoyance with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, stating that Putin had gone absolutely mad following massive Russian strikes on Ukraine last week. Now, Trump himself is under pressure as a cornerstone of his second-term foreign policy, bringing a rapid end to the Ukraine war, looks increasingly shaky. There are powerful levers Trump could choose to pull, such as increasing U.S. military aid or imposing tough new sanctions, like those overwhelmingly supported in the U.S. Senate. One key backer of a cross-party Senate bill aiming to impose crippling new measures on Moscow, Senator Richard Blumenthal, accused Russia of mocking peace efforts at the Istanbul talks. In a carefully worded post on X, formerly known as Twitter, he accused the Kremlin of playing Trump and America for fools. It remains unclear how the unpredictable U.S. president will react or what actions he might take. However, the outcome of the Ukraine war and the brokering of a peace deal to end it have become inextricably linked with the current administration in the White House. The fact that Putin has once again dug in his heels and presented an uncompromising response to calls for peace may now force Trump to act,